Good evening, Julian here from beautiful Canggu, Bali for EX Venture Night. We welcome you back with our beautiful backdrop here in the middle of the night in Bali. Most people around us have long gone to sleep, but we are here. Good night to Asia, good evening to Europe, and good morning to the United States to bring you 12, actually it's 13, include one of our own portfolio companies, of the most exciting clean technology companies in the world right now. And we will need you to vote on them for the next week at exventure.co. So no matter where you're watching this right now, if you're on YouTube, if you're on LinkedIn, if you're on our website, wherever, we need you to go to exventure.co and vote on your favorite company. I said, we're all here to put a spotlight on those technology breakthroughs, on the people that are truly making a difference in the field of clean technology, storage, ag tech, robotics, AI, and beyond. And I think we have found a great selection. A big thanks to our team here behind the camera, Felix and Oliver, who are making this happen with us. And we want to go straight to our co-hosts. Go to our website, though. Don't forget it, exventure.co. You got it? And let's go to Nostromo Energy, the first company tonight, which is joining us from Israel. And they're presented by Giancarlo Savini from Honeywell Ventures. And they're going to be talking about thermal storage, but not the heating ones, the really cold one based on ice. And I think it's a true breakthrough solution because we're here in Southeast Asia. Our cooling demand keeps going up every single year. And if we're not careful, our rise in cooling demand will eat up anything you will save in energy consumption in the rest of the world. So let's take it for Nostromo Energy, thermal cooling solution from Israel. We're super excited. Welcome here from Bali.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, depending on where you are. My name is Giancarlo Savini. I'm Investment and Partnership Director in Honeywell PMT, which is the energy division of Honeywell. I'm responsible for shape, lead Honeywell PMT, first sustainability investment and partnerships. And my focus is predominantly in 4 areas, green hydrogen, biofuels, energy storage, software, and novel chemistries in the flow battery space. And the 4th one is plastic circularity. So it's all about plastic sorting, recycling, biosourced plastics. I'm here today. The real reason is to introduce an amazing company. It's Nostromo Energy. It's an energy storage company that has developed a really revolutionary thermal energy storage cell, which is essentially the building block for a water-based energy storage system. This solution is really distinctive. In fact, has some very peculiar features. First of all, it is safe. We're talking this is water. Is one of the cleanest and most effective solution in the energy storage system available in the market. Nostromo Energy is led by a team of industry experts, so they really know what they're doing. And I'm really impressed about that company. The best feature, I would say, it's this extremely low degradation, 1% or so in more than 20 years. So looking forward to hear more and enjoy their presentation.
Hey, Giancarlo. Thank you. It's a pleasure to speak to you today. So Nostromo developed and is now commercializing a new energy storage technology. And we need storage on a massive scale in order to integrate renewable energy at a meaningful level. That's because renewables are available only part of the day. So in order to have energy when these resources are not available, we need to store enough energy while they are. Now, the missing storage capacity is currently one of the main impediments to integrating renewables. For example, California, which is the most advanced US state in deploying storage so far, will need 50 years at its current record pace to get there. And it has less than 25. And other states are currently far behind. Now, almost all the storage installed today is in lithium batteries, but they have many limitations. One is degradation. They lose about 40% capacity in 10 years. Then there's a safety issue. There's the risk of fire and explosion. Environmentally, they're very difficult and costly to recycle. And the sourcing issue. Almost all batteries are manufactured in China. There's competing demand from vehicles and reports of forced and child labor at the cobalt mines. And I think that's kind of clear. Now, due to the safety issue, most of the storage is installed on the grid side, what's called front of the meter. But that requires a lot of transmission and distribution infrastructure, which is costly, unreliable, not everywhere can be scaled to meet the growing demand, especially when we think about all the cars becoming electric. Now, Nostromo technology enables, for the first time, large-scale energy storage on the consumer side, or what's called behind the meter. This means energy is stored where it's needed and is not dependent on the infrastructure for delivery to the user. Our system enables commercial and industrial buildings to power their air conditioning systems on stored energy. In warm areas where most of the world population live, air conditioning takes about 40% of power during the peak demand, and it's growing everywhere as our world gets warmer. We store energy or charge the system by freezing water and unfreezing to discharge, and then cool the building's chilled water system. We do this in a highly efficient way, so the storage efficiency is as good or even better than lithium batteries. But unlike lithium batteries, there's no degradation over time. Water can freeze and unfreeze forever. It's completely safe. It has zero environmental impact, and there's no sourcing issue. In fact, we're assembling them in the US. So the technology helps solve three big problems. One, the need for massive amounts of sustainable energy storage solutions. Currently, there is none on the market. Second, avoid the need for massive transmission and distribution infrastructure, especially in the urban areas. And three, allows to shave the peak demand or flatten the power demand curve, which enables to use more efficient and clean resources, as opposed to the peaker gas plants, which are used during the peak hours and generate between 20 to 90% more carbon than the regular gas power plants. So in short, Nostromo provides a new kind of energy storage technology. It's 100% clean, safe, and sustainable. The state-of-the-art storage efficiency. It is not dependent on the infrastructure and can be deployed at scale. Simply said, we turn buildings from burden on the grid to energy assets. Thank you.
Thanks. Very interesting pitch. And the first question I have is, cold energy storage makes a lot of sense. So why have there been such a low adoption of cold energy storage until now?
Well, actually, there are cold energy storage systems, but they didn't get any meaningful traction for two main reasons. First, they're bulky and can be installed only if the building was designed for it up front, which is pretty rare. They cannot be retrofitted to existing buildings, which are 98% of the market. And by contrast, the Nostromo ice brick is very compact and modular, so you can install it in almost any building. And so the retrofit market where we're focusing on, there's not much of competition. Secondly, Nostromo ice brick is a lot more efficient. For example, in a 4-hour window, which is the typical peak demand time frame, it can discharge more than 90% of the energy, whereas the traditional ice or cold energy storage can discharge only 40% in that time frame. So for these main reasons, existing cold energy systems did not really catch, and we see a lot of interest in our technology.
Where are you with the commercialization of this technology?
We're installing now the first commercial systems in California, which is our main market. The first one will be at the Hilton Beverly Hills and will be up and running in the first quarter of 2022. We have a few other high-profile customers like Westfield shopping malls and the Sandstone properties, and more like this in the pipeline. We have also 2 working systems in Israel. One has been running for 2 years now, but they were installed mainly for testing and further development. Commercially, we're focusing on the US and like I said, starting in California, where the market is big and very welcoming to us. The system at the Beverly Hilton will be our showcase system and is being installed indoors in a futuristically designed room, as a showcase should be.
Where do you see your most critical challenge?
Our remaining challenges going forward is on the scale up and execution fronts. The technology is developed and working, and it's taking down the building's chillers during the hottest days, including heat waves, entirely based on stored energy. Commercially, we have strong interest from customers and many markets that we can grow to. The challenges are really on the cost reduction, scale up, getting more efficient and fast at all levels of the organization.
This was truly fantastic. Thermal storage obviously is one of the big issues we have here, especially in Southeast Asia. Our cooling demand is going up so much every single year that we have to be careful that what we generate and need more in Southeast Asia doesn't eat up all the energy consumption savings in the rest of the world. So really, really cool stuff. But back to you. Please go to exventure.co and vote on your favorite company. If you want to see Nostromo Energy on top of the list, you have 1 week to vote on this. So let's move on to another super important issue in a company I'm truly excited about. We have presented them before and helped them with a race a little bit last year called Desert Control. They're taking back the desert and they're turning it into farmland. I'm super excited about it. I think this is one of the top companies out there. And I'm also super happy, Stephen, to see you back on the program. Stephen Birkenfeld, one of our strongest supporters and partners here with EX Venture Night and EX Venture. And please take it from here and introduce Desert Control for us.
Hi, everybody. This is Stephen Birkenfeld. Been asked to introduce myself very quickly. I spent a long career, a few decades in investment banking. And then about 2 years ago, I left that, retired from banking to focus entirely on impact and sustainability. I'm advising a bunch of earlier stage companies working on sustainability and clean tech and climate solutions. All of them with interesting and innovative technology. All of them are companies that you'd say, yes, that company should succeed. The world needs that. And along those lines, I'm very happy to introduce Desert Control. It's a very interesting company based in Norway that is making the earth green again. I love that motto or that tagline. They're doing it by combating desertification, soil degradation, and water scarcity with a unique and proprietary soil additive. They're enhancing the Earth's ability to be our partner in removing CO2 from the atmosphere. And they're advancing nature-based climate solutions, which in my mind may be one of the best opportunities we have to address the climate crisis. We need to take full advantage of the Earth, of the land, of the oceans, and do it in a smart, prudent, sensible way to use that land to its full potential, including its ability to sequester CO2. So with that, I will turn it over to Ole. I'm very interested to hear his presentation, and then I'll have a few questions to follow up with. Thank you.
As our global population grows towards 10 billion, we will need more food in the next 40 years than was produced over the last 500 years combined. Growing more food also requires more water. Today, agriculture consumes more than 70% of all available freshwater, with water use rising due to droughts, soil degradation, and desertification. 12 million hectares of fertile land perish to desertification annually, according to the United Nations. That equals 2,000 football fields turning to sand every hour. And as more soil turns to sand, even more water is needed just to maintain current production. This is why Desert Control invented liquid natural clay, LNC, to stop and reverse desertification and soil degradation, and to reduce water usage for agriculture, forests, and green landscapes. LNC is a liquid compound nearly as thin as water. It percolates into the ground by the force of gravity, forming a soil structure, even in desert sand, that retains water just like a sponge. Mobile factories produce LNC, and the liquid can be sprayed directly onto land areas or applied via existing irrigation systems. Independent research has documented up to 50% water savings, higher yields, and improved soil health. This further fosters increased carbon uptake and climate-smart agriculture. One application of LNC will last for 3 to 5 years. The water savings take effect immediately, and the cost savings from reduced water usage pays for LNC treatment in less than 18 months. In March, we raised 200 million Norwegian kroners to fund our growth plan and go from startup to scale up. The rollout has started in the United Arab Emirates after 15 years of R&D, field studies, and validation by independent research. This year, we're growing from 9 to 50 employees and significantly increasing the number of mobile factories for LNC production. During Q4, we will expand further and enter the US West Coast. Farmers, landowners, and governments in more than 110 countries experience increasing water scarcity, loss of vital topsoil, and desertification. Our vision is to make Earth green again.
Ole, my first question, which we don't normally ask in this setting because it's unusual, is why did you decide to go public? I think you did that on Euronext Growth Oslo. And what was the principal driver of why go public at this early stage in your company's growth and expansion?
That's a great question, Stephen. And there are multiple reasons why we decided to go public. We focus on markets and customers where governance, compliance, and transparency are vital factors. Being a public company is therefore an advantage for us. Secondly, there are also valuable investors, especially in the ESG segment, who simply cannot invest unless you are listed. Being listed is also about access to capital markets and ensuring from an early stage that you are shaped to master the requirements of these markets is also important when you're aiming to grow big.
I'd like to understand better who exactly are your customers? Who are you selling your product to? And whose trust do you need to earn that the product works? Is it the farmers, the landowners? Is it government agencies? Is it NGOs? Just trying to understand the dynamic of who you're really directing your sales efforts to.
Our customers are farmers, landowners, and basically anyone who spends money on irrigation, water, and fertilizers. And we focus on regions with arid land, sandy soils, desert conditions, and also water scarcity. Another customer segment is governments and NGOs who focus on combating desertification and run projects for ecosystem restoration and reforestation.
Along those lines, if you could expand a little bit more on your commercial traction to date and what your go-to-market strategy is. The information you provided said that it's very much tailored to each land, its conditions, what it needs to for your additive to be effective. So when you have to do it on an ad hoc basis like that, how do you plan to scale up?
Yeah, another great question, Stephen. We completed our IPO in April, as you know, and then we signed our first commercial contract already in June. We are now in the middle of LNC deployment for this project, and we also exceeded water-saving KPIs for several other pilots in the first half, and we're now in negotiations to convert these into commercial contracts going forward. Demand is really high, and we receive incoming requests basically every week. And regarding go-to-market, we have started with a business-to-business service-based model where we deliver turnkey LNC treatment projects direct to customers. In the next phase, we will launch an indirect model also to scale even faster through partners. And further down the road, we're also considering various license-based models, but that's more into the future.
Finally, I'd like to understand a little bit better what your revenue model is. What are your unit economics? How do you price your product? And then what sort of margins do you think you'll have in selling it?
Revenue model. Well, we have project revenue from first-time application of LNC. These are at large paid upfront, and we also expect recurring revenue from retreatment or top-up as a service going forward. In addition, we also have digital services related to soil health monitoring and optimization of water savings. Here, we also expect to develop a portfolio for annual recurring revenue, or ARR. The project revenue is made up by a price per square meter or hectares of land, plus a price per tree, with some variations depending on the condition of the soil and the type of vegetation. The unit economics are thereby square meters or number of trees treated per unit per month. But then we see the future indirect go-to-market model where we have more of a revenue based on the volumes delivered mixed with digital services. And then to your last point on margin, Stephen, when cost savings from reduced water usage pays for LNC treatment in less than 18 months, we are confident that we will grow a profitable business for customers, for our company, and for our investors, and also ultimately for our planet. Thank you, Stephen, and thanks for inviting us to take part in this event. And also, thanks for shining a spotlight on the importance of combating desertification, degradation of vital topsoil, and water scarcity.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And Ole, it's always incredible to have you on our program. I think this is an incredible solution. I would like to see this, and maybe moving on, to Harold. We're going to go to Israel next, and Phobos Energy. We're talking about battery solutions, and obviously Israel is always one of the strongest contenders on our program. There's so much innovation coming out of this small country, and maybe even, desert control is something for Israel. I can truly imagine that. So Phobos Energy and Harold, please take it from here.
Thank you very, very much for what you do for everyone. You are doing an amazing job for the clean tech community and for the impact community. My name is Harold Wiener. I'm a doctor in chemistry and one of the managing partners of Terra Venture Partners, which is a normal, plain vanilla, early stage venture capital in Israel with two main characteristics. One is that we only invest in impact ideas in the very early stage, but only such ideas that will improve dramatically the quality of life of people in many different senses, but we mainly work on the energy sector, food, agriculture, water, efficiency, 3D printing, AI, machine learning, digitalization of the old economy, which needs a lot to be done, and things that are related to industry and to robotics, mainly dealing with the wellness and the quality of life of people. We have over 30 companies in various stages. We started 10 years ago, and Phobos Energy was one of the most important companies that we have. I will handle it to Iran. And the second thing that I just wanted to say is that we are the lucky winners of the most important innovation program in Israel called the Incubator Program, which is very, very important for us, both in terms of honor and both in terms of leverage from the government of Israel, which is one of the most important and innovative governments in the world. And I will be very, very happy to hand it over to Iran, which will present Phobos.
Okay, so the name of Phobos is Apollo in the Latin mythology, and is the god of sun and the one first to harness the sun's energy to variety of needs. That's why we chose this name. Our mission is to reduce heating expenses up to 70% in commercial facilities. When we speak about commercial facilities, we speak mainly about hotels, hospitals, and big sports centers. Local activity in Israel, we are working with the main hotel chains already, Fatal, Israel, big hospitals, and big sports centers in Israel. In the global activity, we are already work from the east to west in Hong Kong, in India, in Israel, of course, Greece, Spain, in the Canary Islands, Mexico, and our last installation in beautiful Marriott Hotel in Mauritius. Okay, what we do? Okay, the problem that we are dealing with, that's heating costs in the commercial facilities, are extremely expensive due to the need to supply hot water 24/7. And the cost is about, for let's say a 300 rooms hotel, is around $200,000 US. Okay, what we do, our solution, we call it a hydrobalance. A hydrobalance because we balance between the need of cooling and heating. Most of the places, okay, still working in a very old way, where they have the fossil fuel boiler that they use it in order to heat the shower and the swimming pool. And on the other side, they have air conditioning system. That the air conditioning system, what it does, it's take the energy out of the hotel or out of the building. What we are doing, we are taking part of the energy that the air condition send it out, and instead it send it out to the ambient, we use it in order to heat the water. And by that, okay, we reduce most of the fossil fuel consumption for the water heating, and we of course decrease by 80 to 90% the pollution that's come from this hotel. All this system is monitored and controlled by our unique cloud-based software that's remote 24/7 access, give a report generation, and a real-time optimization with the two energy sources, the new hydro balance unit and the existing fossil fuel boiler. The main business model that we offer our clients, we call it a shared saving business model. That means that we make the entire investment and we offer our client a 10 years contract where we take part of the achieved saving. So our software not only creates the saving, but also measuring it in a very accurate way and display it in every web. Some of the case study that we already made is the Sheraton Puerto Rico. The annual saving there is around $70,000 US, which is 65%. Holiday Inn in Athens, we saved there more than 70,000 euro a year. Beautiful Ananda in the Himalayas, that's the saving there is almost 90,000 US dollar. In Sheraton, Tel Aviv, by the beach of Tel Aviv. We already have a few patents registered in Tel Aviv, Israel, and the US. Our plan to scale up is for places that we shine, and these places are places that have demand for both water heating and air conditioning, and this happens in a warm weather places and places where they have a large number of big hotels. So we are now looking for equity investment of between 5 to 10 million US dollar, mainly to penetrate the market that we are looking for, and of course to continue our R&D efforts for our next solution.
So thank you very much, Eran. It was a great pitch and a great way to show what Phoebus is doing for the world. Let me ask you the first question is, try to simplify and explain to the people, how do you save such an amazing amount of money and pollution by implementing Phoebus technology?
Okay. The main idea that the hotel spends huge amount of money on fossil fuel, which is cost a lot and send a lot of pollution to the ambient. What we do, our solution replace, the fossil fuel boiler, and now most of the energy come of the wasted heat of the air condition. And by that, we almost eliminate the use of fuel for water heating. And by that, we can achieve a great saving between 50 to almost 80%. So this is the main idea. We are using the energy that exists from the sun in order to heat the water.
Eran, my second question will be, how do you plan to expand your business on a global basis? How do we give this gift of Phoebus to all the people around us? And what are your plans to expand and where? So
we are very clear about the next territories that we want to penetrate. And these territories are territories that has a large number of hotels, big hotels in relatively warm places, mainly in the Southeast Asia, but also in Central America, Caribbean, Bahamas, all these places with many big hotels and many tourists. And at the moment, we are looking to find the right partners to penetrate these markets.
Okay, Eran, thank you very much. I will ask my third and last question. Could you please explain what is so special in your solution and what makes you so unique in terms of technology, machine learning, and things like that?
Okay, our main uniqueness and the main advantage of our solution is the monitor and control software that we developed, and we are keep developing it. And this unique software give us a huge advantage, because we have a complete remote monitor and control on the system. Doesn't matter where it is, so we can see the financial results, the operational results. We can see every minute what are the temperature of the water, what is the saving, and what is the cost. This also enables us to offer our clients the revenue share business model, because all the data is on the web, and you can see the data, everything is transparent, and this is a huge advantage.
That was really cool stuff. Harold, thank you so much for helping us find these incredible companies in Israel. Obviously, Harold Wiener, Terra Venture Partners, they're doing a lot of great work, especially in the early stage funding of those Israeli cleantech companies working with the Israeli government. And it's always a true pleasure to see what you guys come up with. It's always breakthrough. But let's go somewhere else. Another veteran on our program, one of our closest friends, Remy de Tonac, is back with us tonight. I'm not sure if you've left the south of France where you spent the COVID time. You're back with ETF Partners in your office in London, but it's always great to have you on our program. And he's going to go to Spain for World Sensing to talk about IoT, an industrial project, which I think is truly groundbreaking stuff and super cool and already generating a lot of revenue out there. And then he's going to introduce H2 Sight, a company from France that is doing breakthrough membrane technology for the revolution of the hydrogen economy. Something for us also that's super important, because we're working on a project that is turning waste into green hydrogen at very, very low cost. And these guys are doing some really cool stuff to make it as easy as possible to separate all these gases and produce clean green hydrogen. So, Remy, take it from here. I know what you're doing. Just have fun.
Hey, bonjour. Bonjour, everybody. I am Remy de Tonac. I am an entrepreneur, two-time entrepreneur, 2 IPOs turned venture capitalist with a mission on sustainability with the Environmental Technology Funds in London. We invest into growth company where the CEO is targeting one of the sustainability challenges that the world is facing. And as you know, we have plenty. And today I will have the pleasure to introduce a great company in the field of sustainability, World Sensing. I have to tell you my conflict of interest, as I am the lead investor in that company, which tells you a lot about what I think of them. And here comes Ignacy Villajosana, the CEO and founder, who will tell you more about World Sensing.
Thanks, Remy, for the introduction. I'm Ignacy Villajosana and one of the founders and the CEO of World Sensing, a Barcelona-based company that we founded in 2008, and we provide wireless monitoring technologies for critical infrastructures. Today, we work with more than 300 partners in more than 60 countries, and we have deployed more than 1,000 implementations of our technology in the most critical infrastructures of the world that go from Eiffel Tower, Panama Canal, Ponte Vecchio, Morandi Bridge, 150 mines in all continents, or the main metro projects in the world, like Sydney or Paris or Crossrail or HS2 in the UK. We, as a company, we work mainly in 4 sectors, in 4 areas of activity, which is mining, construction, infrastructure, and rail. And we provide technology to monitor in real time the integral stability of these infrastructures. With climate change, with new regulatory changes, the situation of the market is changing. Climate change will impact a lot of infrastructures, linear infrastructures, and permafrost disappear or tidal waves in the coastal areas will damage existing infrastructures. We also know that there's a lot of infrastructures that they were built in the 80s and in the 90s. So we are facing now the aging of these infrastructures. And in mining, there are a lot of critical assets like the tailing dams that are not under control. With all of that, new ESG policies are pushing the owners, the asset owners, to digitize and get more visibility of the integrity of these infrastructures. And to do that, we are providing an end-to-end solution, which is based on hardware and software to monitor in real time all the existing infrastructures. We work with more than 300 engineering service providers in all continents that provide services to monitor the critical industries. We as a company, we have been growing more than a 60% year on year over the last 5 years, and we have been financed through venture capital with one of the most prestigious funds like MacRock Capital or ETF Partners, to name a few. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Ignazi. I believe I know your company well, but I feel I always learn something new when I listen to your pitch. So first question, tell me, what has changed in the market that explain your accelerated growth these days? Is it climate change, new regulation, more pressure coming on the ESG?
Well, thanks, Remy. Very good point. In fact, what's happening is that we are realizing that climate change is a serious thing, and that has an impact to existing and newly built infrastructures. So companies are becoming more conscious of the need to get control of their assets. So monitoring technologies is becoming compulsory by law in many regions. We have seen how Brazil has changed the law and adopted and pushed for the adoption of monitoring technologies in mining. And in construction, we are seeing very large projects like the HS2 in the UK that where by tender specification, monitoring is a very important element of the industry. So I think that we are in the good path of adoption of these technologies as a tool to build resilience in existing infrastructures.
Ignazi, so yeah, as investor, we want to know that we invest in a unique technology. So why is it that you are so competitive versus the legacy existing solution for risk monitoring in infrastructures?
I think that it's on the, first of all, vertical knowledge and deep knowledge in the industry. And second, that we built an end-to-end solution that is very well adapted to the deployments of our technology. So we kind of, it fits very well with monitoring of critical infrastructure. It can stay in the field for many years unattended, for 10 years without replacing batteries. It's wireless. We are compatible with most of the sensors in the market, and we provide an end-to-end solution to a majority of service providers in all continents.
Ignazi, as you know, the risk underwritten by insurance companies is rising significantly due to the global warming. Do you see that sooner rather than later, your solution will have an influence in the way insurance companies will handle and underwrite those risks?
Indeed, and it should happen, because most of the insurance models are based on statistical data, and climate change is a black swan. So past is not telling how future would look like. Then the only way to address uncertainty and to reduce uncertainty is to monitor, and especially in parametric models for insurance, and also on the exclusions on the insurance models, they might need real data related to the assets and how they are suffering against an episode of extreme climate. Could be extreme rain or a flooding, etc.
Right. Very good. Thanks, Ignazi. Very convincing. You are on a mission. Keep the good work. Now to our second company with another sustainability challenge on the big hydrogen market. So hyped. So you need differentiation here. H2Site is the name of the company, and I'm very pleased to introduce Andres, who is the founder and CEO of H2Site. Andres, stage is yours.
Transporting hydrogen is not easy. According to Bloomberg Energy Finance, using trucks to move hydrogen around adds between $1 and $6 per kilogram to the hydrogen cost for end users, depending on the distance. Small and medium hydrogen consumers are usually very far away from where large centralized generation units are located. And while centralized generation of hydrogen production cost is at around €2 or $2 per kilogram, small and medium consumers pay over $10 per kilogram. H2Site was actually created to specifically solve this issue. We are a spin-off of Tecnalia, Spain's largest research center, and the Technical University of Eindhoven, that commercializes advanced membrane reactors for hydrogen generation and separation purposes. ENGIE, which is our anchor investor and participated in the seed round in March 2020, supports the industrialization process. The solutions that we offer are twofold. First, we convert many different hydrogen carriers with well-known supply chains into fuel cell quality hydrogen in one single process steps. Examples are ammonia, for which we have over 97% conversion efficiency, methanol, ethanol, DME, formic acid, biogas. Second solution, separation of the natural gas from a blended CH4 hydrogen mix that flows in the natural gas infrastructure. Depending on the feedstock, our technology adds an extra 0.5 to 1.5 euros per kilogram. And this leads to levelized cost of hydrogen ranging from 3 to 6 euros per kilogram, generated with locally available feedstocks. One same reactor can actually be used for multiple feedstocks just by replacing its catalyst. Our company is a deep tech. We have filed 3 patents covering our membranes, part of the manufacturing process, and the hydrogen separation process in blended streams. Next year, 30% of all our staff will be PhDs, developing additional features for our unique technology. Since H2Site was created, we have worked on our major project, building a world-unique membrane manufacturing plant located in the north of Spain. It will be commissioned in February 2022. Although the company is just 18 months old, we have already started building commercial traction. Our first 2 commercial reactors are built and certified and will be installed before the end of the year. And we will have generated revenues of approximately 300,000 euros in 2021, having created a project pipeline that is worth more or less 60 million euros with 100 projects in Western EU and the US. H2Site is now raising a 9 million euro Series A, out of which 2/3 are already committed. ENGIE has confirmed its follow-on, a public institution has also confirmed its participation, and we have received the first term sheets for the remaining 3.4 million euros. We are looking for investors that can help us grow in terms of business development and can bring synergies to our current activities. This capital will mainly be deployed to increase the membrane manufacturing plant capabilities, develop larger units, and grow our sales to 50 million euros. I look forward to discussing in detail with you if that could be of your interest. Thank you very much.
Okay, Andres, very clear pitch. Thanks for that. So people may not know that, but you have already done it. You started your first company in the energy field a few years back. You sold it to a big corporate, ENGIE. ENGIE is backing you today with your second company, with H2Site. They own more than 30%. And they are backing you in the next round of funding. So bravo for that. My first question, we all know that transportation and storage is a kind of a nightmare when it comes to hydrogen. Tell us again, how are you solving the problem with ammonia?
Yes, well, it is indeed a bit of a nightmare. Actually, when you go through the compression, storage, and decompression cycle, you lose on average between 10 and 12% of the total volume of hydrogen that you transport. What we say to ourselves is that this is something the hydrogen economy cannot leverage on. So what we do is, well, we use molecules that can easily be transported, like ammonia or like methanol or like ethanol, that have a supply chain that is already well known. And once they are located where the hydrogen has to be produced, we convert them into hydrogen with very, very high efficiencies. Right?
Thanks, Andres. So second question, let's talk money. Tell us how and why your technology is going to bring down the cost of H2 at the pump, if I may say, and by how much?
Yes, actually, we are already bringing the cost of hydrogen down systematically. Today, when we talk about small and medium consumers, people that consume, let's say, a couple of hundreds to perhaps a couple of thousand kilograms of hydrogen per day, like hydrogen refilling stations or small and medium hydrogen consumers in the industry, they are often paying more than 10 euros per kilogram. While when we use available feedstocks, we can easily bring these costs, we can easily divide it by 2, right? And even sometimes by 3. How does it work? Well, we use a reactor that has very few moving parts. It's a very compact reactor. So from this perspective, we require relatively small amounts of CapEx. And on top of that, in terms of OpEx, since there are no moving parts, the level of maintenance that you require on an equipment that lasts easily more than 20 years is very limited.
Well understood, Andres. So last question. As you know, any investor wants to make sure that not only he's investing in a great technology, and well, I believe it is the case with H2 site, but that this technology is not going to be something that competition can copycat, that you have some strong IP barrier. Tell us how strong is your patent?
Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, H2 Site is a company that is a spin-off of 2 technology centers, right? So what they do is developing IP. And Tecnalia and the Technical University of Eindhoven have been working together on advanced membrane reactors for more than 12 years. Since then, they developed, I would say, 3 major patents that were transferred to H2 Site when the company was created. And this is a bit like the fundamental of the technology that we use on our everyday basis, right? So our IP is not only strong that we already have these 3 patents available, but also we have several of our people internally within the company that are generating new IP to enrich our position and to protect our technology in the market.
Thank you, Remy, so much. Your guest, really breakthrough technology and really, really cool stuff. We need you as an audience to go to our website and vote on these companies. You got 7 days, 1 week to vote on the best companies out there. And we're truly excited to see what you like, because obviously we pick the companies we get excited about. And if you want to pitch on our program, the way to do that, if you're already funded by a VC, for example, have them suggest you or reach out to us directly. We're also coming back with our online series about how to pitch your startup. We really want to help you guys to really raise the money you need to make a difference. But moving on a little bit to something totally different, because at EX Venture, obviously, we're also pushing our own projects. And so this is what we're up to. You know about zero carbon, probably. It's a very, very interesting technology to convert waste into clean hydrogen and power. More about that later. But I want to tell you about something that kind of accumulates everything we have been working on for the last decade. As you know, our team has done almost 100 projects for the German government in waste, in water, and decentralized electrification. And now we're doing something that is going to be super sexy, finally, which sometimes waste and water is not so much. We're doing something super sexy. We are partnering up with Wonderboat's Yacht, and we're actually commissioning them to build a floating houseboat that's like a luxury residence on water. And the cool thing about it is that because of the dropping prices in solar storage and batteries, we think we can do that cheaper than building a luxury apartment. And it will have zero emission footprint. It's going to be fully solar powered. It's going to have batteries running. We have no wastewater. So pretty much you could stay out there. It's like a sexy version of Waterworld. I truly hope that you enjoy this presentation. Our vision even goes further. We think about like docking hundreds of these little boats together and building floating cities at some point that are absolutely zero emission, in the best case, carbon negative. So this is our little presentation we shot with our friends at Wonderboat Yachts. I hope you enjoyed. If you like the program, please reach out to us and don't forget to vote. Obviously, Project Gemini, as we call it, is out of competition for this year, but maybe it might be the winner next year. Don't forget to go to our website, exventure.co. You got 1 week to vote. Let's watch a little video, and I hope you're as excited about this project as we are, because what is cooler than a floating solar zero emission home on the best beaches in the world? At least I find it super exciting. What do you think? Drop me a message. Hey, Julien here for EX Venture. I want to introduce you to Gemini 1, one of the coolest things we have ever done in our life. We are building here with our friend Alessio beautiful luxury floating homes that are going to give you the perfect spot on your favorite beach in the world. As you might know, for the last decade, we have spent our time building decentralized power, waste, and water systems all over the world. Now we are bringing that expertise to our nomad community. Building floating homes that you can bring anywhere in the world. You can live on water with a zero waste, fully solar powered at lower cost than renting an apartment or a hotel room on the ocean. Being out there, creating a great community, and actually making those boats flexible so they can dock together and we can create entire communities of water. So if you're thinking of Waterworld, you're not that far off, but we're going to create this in a beautiful version, right? Where great people come together for an amazing society. So everything is kind of based on this trimaran or catamaran foundation, and on top of this thing we can build just about anything. We can build beautiful homes, we can build even little farms, we can create bars, so we can bring this all together into floating cities. Let's build something incredible. This is the foundation, we make it movable, and then all these little parts can come together to create whatever we want on water. Obviously, this is a great, amazing plan, but we want to work with you to come up with a perfect solution that fits our community of like-minded people. So please reserve a few nights on our website. We just want to know if you find this interesting. Do you want to live and work on an amazing houseboat on your perfect beach? I think it's a great plan. Sign up right now. It doesn't cost you anything, but we want to know if you're interested. Give us some feedback. My name is Julien here for EX Venture, and enjoy Gemini 1. Come on, that's pretty cool, right? Who doesn't want to live on a luxury houseboat in front of some of the most beautiful beaches in the world? And from my side, a big shout out to Elon Musk. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but obviously it kind of gets boring living on the beach unless you have super fast internet. So we think that Starlink actually is going to make this possible, because digital nomads like us, we need good internet. So thank you, Elon, for providing now finally internet in the Philippines and Indonesia. And so we can go to some of the best beaches in the world and have high-speed internet access. And what do I do with that access? I go to exventure.co and vote on the companies for the next week, right? So don't forget that. All right, we're moving on to France, to our friend Vincent here from ENGIE, one of the largest utilities, obviously, in the world. And we're going to be talking about C-Tree, an, I would say, IoT AI company in AgTech. And that is because we really want to put a focus on agricultural technology. Obviously, some of the biggest GHG emissions in the world are coming from agricultural production and agricultural production waste and everything that's associated with it. So everything that makes it smarter and better and more sustainable, we're super open to it. And I think this will blow your mind. Vincent, please take it from here.
Yeah, thanks, Julien. So everybody, hi, everybody. My name is Vincent Ruinet, and I'm an investment director within ENGIE New Ventures. So ENGIE New Ventures is the corporate VC of the global utility ENGIE. And what we do is we invest in companies that address the issue of carbon neutrality. So the domains we are looking at are energy efficiency solutions, decarbonized generations, green gases, and in general, more digital solutions that addresses the businesses of the utility companies. So we focus typically on Series A or Series B companies with a ticket of a few million euros or equivalent. Our focus in terms of geography is Europe and North America mainly, where we have companies and operations. We have also people and companies in Asia and in South America. In total, as of today, we have 18 companies in the portfolio with a fund of 180 million and still investing, of course. So today, I'm very happy to introduce to you Gilly from C3. And Gilly, the floor is yours.
Okay, so thank you, Vincent. It's a pleasure to be here with you all at X Venture. My name is Gilly. I'm the general manager at C3. C3 is an Israeli company, agtech company, based out of Tel Aviv, with offices in South Africa, Brazil, US, and with farmers all over the world, in Greece, in Spain, and California and other places. We raised $35 million in our last round about 6 months ago, overall $45 million, and we have about 150 people altogether throughout the company, and some of the strongest stakeholders in the industry are our investor, Netafim, the irrigation company, Kubota, the Japanese tractor, IFC, the International Finance Corporation out of the World Bank. They are only some of our investors. So C3's vision is to optimize each and every tree. Our goal is to basically provide actionable insight and very usable results to the farmers. We are dividing our pillars to 4 main pillars: tracking tree health and providing tree grade and scores and measurement to each and every tree. We are enhancing the farming efficiency through different dashboards and data that we collect and analyze. We provide early detection of disease and pests, and everything is sitting on a big data platform with over 40 million trees, and we can derive data out of it. And that's basically the 4 main pillars that we are focusing in our actionable data that we are collecting and analyzing. Our tools are basically drones. That's our main tool. We have the drone that we develop. It's a military grade drone. On top of it, we have satellite, and we have our own ground vehicle to provide us with a ground level view imagery. And everything is been verified and ground truth with boots on the ground. So satellites, drones, ground vehicle, and boots on the ground that allow us to provide holistic intelligence campaign to our farmers in different kind of level and layers. We basically help the farmer save money by variable rate spraying, by variable rate irrigation, by have a very accurate yield estimate, and by we also help boost the yield, and most of all we help with efficient and very useful management of the farming for each farmer. We have a lot of tech guys, AI expert, data scientists that basically helping us analyze the data. We have a lot of patents that we cover along the way. Yeah, that's basically C3. We help optimizing trees in mostly nuts, almond, and citrus, and we are very happy to be here today. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thanks, Gilly, for this very good presentation. So my first question would be, what is C3's vision for the agtech world?
Yeah. Yeah, this is great question. Thank you, Vincent. Yeah, I think our vision is basically to help the farmer saving cost. That's our main goal, and everything that we do and every product and every feature that we develop, we always have one metric: how much money we can save. And we understand that farming is becoming more and more competitive, and our resources are getting more and more we're getting short with our resources, and we want to make sure we help the farmers saving money. The other thing is how we help boost their yield and improve their planning and operational activities. And lastly is overall enhancing the farming efficiency. So that's the three main pillars of our vision.
So my second question, Gili, would be, how can C3 provide actionable data for the farmers market?
Yeah. Because C3 is basically measuring and grading each and every tree, we can help arrive or reach very granular data. We know the size of each and every tree. So just an example, with variable rate spraying, based on our calculation, you can save up to 60% of the chemicals for each farm. You don't need to spray evenly throughout the farm. You can basically spray based on the canopy size or based on to what extent the disease are spread. And if you know to spray just the accurate or the precise level that is really need to be applied, you could save a lot of money. Same thing goes with irrigation. We found out that in almond, one of the biggest crop in California, we have different variety. Each variety in the same block, in the same grove, each variety requires a different amount of irrigation. So we basically developed the whole concept of variety-based irrigation that can help save a lot of money and basically make sure each variety and each tree gets the right level of irrigation or water that it's really need. So by that we help saving money and a lot of money. So that's some of the things. Our data collection that is very granular help the farmer save a lot of money by doing that.
Gili, question for you. How is C3 different from the other players in your market?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, you have a lot of drones company and you have a lot of satellite company and you have a lot of scouting company. C3 is all of them together. We have our mobile app that help you with scouting. We have the satellite that we are using, and we have the drone that we develop. And on top of that, we have the ground vehicle that there are very few of these, equipped with 12 camera, stereoscopic camera in each side, 6 in each side, 12 cameras altogether. And on top of all of these 4, we have boots on the ground. Every data collection every data collection campaign that we run, we always verify it with our team, our agronomists and our field scouter team that are going and verify the hypothesis that we develop. And this is something that farmers really appreciate, because cameras could be great and sensors are always very useful, but you need to ground truth your finding, and this is something that C3 is really unique, and I think farmers that are people with boots on the ground and hands-on really appreciate, and that's something that makes us quite unique in the field. So basically, the variety and the widespread of tools that we use to collect the data, but and the fact that we always verify and ground truth every piece of data that we find.
Really, really cool stuff. I love the graphic interface, how you see everything going on that farm. We obviously need to be much more efficient in our farming. We need to really reduce all the wastage, everything else. So we need systems like that. Super exciting. Moving on to somebody new in our program. Steven Schuler is joining us for the very first time. He's truly a legend in the maritime industry and industry financing. And we want to put more focus on that in the future, because obviously a lot of GHG emissions are coming from the maritime industry, no matter if it's on cruise ships, if it's on container ships. I think it's an industry ready for disruption. So we reach out to Steven to help us to find some great companies in the future that we're going to feature on our programs. But tonight he's introducing an old friend of ours, Sam, from Libertine Free Piston Engine, also something could be used in shipping in the future. We use it right now in oil and gas fields to reduce flaring, which is also another big emission issue. So Sam, please take it from here and tell us about Libertine. It's a great company out of the UK.
Hello, my name is Steve Schuler, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for Energen Capital based in London. Little background on myself. I spent my early part of my career working for Procter & Gamble, where I had the opportunity to live in Argentina, Venezuela, South Korea, Russia, before managing global retail operations for the company. After P&G, I had the opportunity to work at Microsoft, where I was the global head of retail sales and marketing out of Seattle. And then I moved into industrial and clean energy with Maersk, where I was the chief commercial officer managing their 377 offices across 114 countries and a member of the executive board. Energen Capital is one of the largest global renewable energy investment vehicles. We specialize in sustainability, and our biggest projects are in fuel and sustainable shipping fuel. I'm here today to introduce Sam and Libertine, who we believe is one of the strongest companies in the field of clean energy.
Stephen, thank you so much. My name is Sam Cockrell. I'm the Chief Executive of Libertine, and we help companies make clean power from renewable fuels. Now, the problem we help companies solve is this: we have to decarbonize all sectors of our economy. That includes the trucks that move our goods around. Decarbonizing a truck is hard because it has to move around the whole time, moving goods from A to B, doesn't have the time to stop and recharge as it would need to do if it was pure battery or electric. Battery electric is a great solution in some situations, but it's not a universal solution because of the impact on payload and productivity for transport operators. At Libertine, we help companies make linear generators. This is a sort of range extender technology or onboard power generation technology, which is ideally suited to producing power from renewable fuels like bioethanol, biogas, biomethanol, or even hydrogen. It offers the efficiency of fuel cells with the durability and cost of conventional internal combustion engines. So for applications like heavy duty vehicles, which we need to decarbonize just in the course of the next decade or so, this is a great solution that's going to help accelerate that. What Libertine does is make a platform technology, a linear electrical machine and control platform that engine makers, powertrain developers can integrate into their product development to quickly bring to market linear generator products that might be configured for today's fuels like compressed natural gas, but flexible and able to use hydrogen alongside existing fuels. They might be configured to use bioethanol or biomethanol alongside existing gasoline fuels. And it's that fuel flexibility that future powertrains will need if they're going to help bring quickly products to market that can be used by transport operators today using existing fuels and also use low carbon or carbon zero fuels of the future. Now, we've got a lot of commercial traction so far. We've been doing these platforms for the last several years. This year we'll turn over, I think, £3 million. We're working with some of the world's leading OEMs involved in powertrain development, powertrain generation. We'll turn over, I think, £3 million this year. We've got a strong trajectory of growth over the coming years. That growth comes from three revenue sources. Firstly, we help companies integrate the platform into their product development, generating engineering fees. Secondly, we'll be generating license income from companies who will be bringing this into their series production. Advanced license fees will start to pick off in the course of the next couple of years. And then ultimately, we'll earn unit royalties as product enters high volume manufacturing. So that's a very quick introduction to Libertine. We're super excited about the point we've got to in our technical development, in our commercialization, and in the journey to help companies make clean power from renewable fuels. Thank you.
Sam, you and your company have an incredible story. Where do you think Libertine's linear generators will have the most impact in the future?
So we think in heavy duty powertrains, we're going to have a huge impact with this technology because it's going to take a huge effort to decarbonize heavy duty vehicles. And until low carbon and net zero powertrains are economically attractive to transport operators, people just won't invest in these new technologies. We have to make trucks that can be run economically, that can pay their way, and those trucks have to be fossil-free capable. Now, trucks with linear generators on board can be fossil-free capable because in future, they could run on fossil-free fuels. So fuels like hydrogen or e-methanol, synthetic fuels. And the real excitement here is the path to decarbonizing heavy-duty vehicles, trucks and buses, as well as tractors and mining equipment, using the same architecture, which is a hybrid architecture using battery electrification where that's possible, where that's economic, but supplementing that with additional onboard power generation using clean, renewable fuels. And this really combines the best of both.
Excellent. I appreciate that answer. My next question is, who are your main competitors?
Linear generators have been around for a while, but it's really only in the last few years that companies have brought linear generators into the marketplace as commercial products. A company in California, for example, Mainspring Energy, is one of the first companies to bring successful commercial linear generator products to market. These are used for distributed power generation, helping companies ensure that they don't suffer intermittency of power supply when there are continuity problems with the grid, giving companies the option of reducing their carbon emissions by using clean sources of fuel for their heat and power, and fundamentally reducing the cost of utility bills.
Well, that is good news for you and your company. My next question is, could you talk a little bit more about your go-to-market plan and where do you see the most distribution in the future?
So we're seeing linear generators being brought to market today by companies like Mainspring. We think products using our platform technology will be brought to market probably in the second half of this decade. And the first applications we'll see use cases for could be in vehicles, could be in distributed power, could be in a wide range of applications. And we're working with companies across a range of applications, each of whom has very tight times to market, and we're helping them achieve those time frames.
Thank you, Sam, so much. Great stuff. And Stephen, amazing to have you on our program. So we're looking forward to an incredible year. Let's do a program together and talk about maritime solutions as well. Moving on to Singapore, we had to pre-record this one because it's very late for Lisa. But Lisa Salutro is joining us from R3I Ventures in Singapore. She's the person we reach out to if we talk medtech and everything we don't know anything about. And she has been incredibly supportive to our work in the past. So super excited, Lisa, to have you on our program, as well with one of our project partners. We actually just got a grant together. Hamed, good to see you again from Boreal Light. Breakthrough water desalination from Germany, and also great impact work. And this is what we love to see. We don't keep the technology in the lab. These guys have been able to raise money to bring the wastewater treatment systems to developing countries so people literally don't die from spoiled water. And that's a huge step. And I know these guys from when they were like 2 people in the lab in Berlin. I am super proud of you. Tell us something about what you did last year and introduce the technology. And if you want to see Boreal on top of the list, please don't forget to exventure.co and vote them up on our list. So Lisa, take it from here.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. My name is Lisa Salud. I'm the general partner of R3I Ventures. And we have the great privilege to invest in the pioneers that are literally transforming our planet. I have the great privilege today to warmly introduce you to a company called Boreal Light. When we evaluate a company, we're looking for those companies that have a product impact. And not just any product impact, but those that are going to transform their communities through environmental or social impact. Now, Boreal Light is a Berlin-based company specialized on renewable energy solutions for water treatment facilities. The company designs and manufactures affordable solar water desalination systems for off-grid communities around the globe. Sounds like a dream, doesn't it? These systems that they manufacture are capable of delivering high-quality drinking water, irrigation water, fish farm water, and sanitation water from any kind of high saline and polluted water resources. Powered fully by solar, the simplicity of the design and affordability of the cost of the systems manufactured by Boreal Light are the 3 great competencies that this impact company is proud of. Now, I think this is an incredible solution that, if it does what it says on the tin, could literally save the opportunities for people all over the world in getting access to safe, potable, drinkable water supplies and an income. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Boreal Light in order to tell us why they are worthy of our impact investment. Over to you. The floor is yours.
So, hello, my name is Hamad Beheshti, the co-founder CEO of Boreal Light. It's a pleasure being with you here. Boreal Light is a company based in Berlin, manufacturing affordable, simple solar water desalination system for off-grid communities around the world. And our work has two types of business model. From one hand, we are the system manufacturers, and from the other hand, we are water providers to communities. So on the first side of being system manufacturer, we manufacture an affordable and simple solar water desalination system in a range anything from 1,000 liters per hour up to 20,000 liters per hour, dealing with direct seawater quality to any type of brackish surface water, whatever. Those type of water are dealing with salinity, chloride, fluoride, sodium, calcium, nitrates, turbidity, bacteria, viruses, any kind of pollution in water, and not just even such natural waters. We do the same with wastewater, municipal wastewater. We do the same with wastewater from mining industry and also apparel factories, fabric factories, and whatever industrial wastewater. The very also recent segment of our work that due to the pandemic we expanded drastically is the specific machine that is designed for hospitals to deliver hygiene drinking water to hospitals, especially during this pandemic. That water is extremely important. You may not imagine that there are thousands of hospitals in unprivileged communities, in unprivileged countries around the world. They are suffering from absence of hygiene drinking and sanitation water. So this was on a specific input. 33 hospitals now in East Africa, 33 biggest hospital in East Africa. They are all running on also solar water desalination system. This is the B2B business model of us under production. The B2C is when we run our own machines in different countries around the world for selling water, for selling social tariff water and also commercial water. We call it water kiosk. This business model is called water kiosk. Now we are in 8 countries with water kiosk business model, and we are expanding it more. Recently, we established water kiosk Mexico, water kiosk Philippines already operational. We have water kiosk Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, and very soon in Ghana. So Zanzibar also as well. And within the water kiosk business model is not just the case of water kiosk as a water delivery. Even we have water kiosk academy, training the operators, training those who need to be in contact with the machine, with the community, in terms of technical training, social training, and management training. Water Kiosk Academy is based in Nairobi, and all the operators in East Africa who want to work in water kiosk, they get their certificate after intensive training from Water Kiosk Academy. So the last piece of our work that recently joined our team is, from one hand, we are producing water. From the other hand, we are delivering water. We had one missing point, which was the distribution of water. So on the distribution of water, we recently started investing in a company as a co-investor, manufacturing cargo bikes. Electric cargo bikes, designed for rough roads of Africa, designed for water delivery. One ride, 180 liter, all electric, getting electricity from the excess of our solar panels, solar arrays of the same machine, going for the distribution of water in 5 kilometer radius from any of our water kiosks, from A to Z of water production. I believe that should be enough for the moment, but just the last point I can add probably to it is, it's not just drinking water. We deliver drinking, irrigation, fish farm, and sanitation water. It can be diverse range of applications where the need of water is there. Thank you.
Now, I have only 3 questions for you as a good investor that wants to get under the hood of this great deep technology. Can you tell me what is the size of the system? Obviously, when evaluating the true impact measure of your product, I need to understand how many people this is going to serve. what is the liter capacity of your system? And how many people is that?
Thanks, Lisa. We have machines, as I quickly mentioned before, from 1,000 liter per hour up to 20,000 liter per hour. This was the gap in the market. We really don't want to be bigger than this because there is a huge competition on that side, on companies doing infrastructure water solutions. There was a gap in the market of affordable, simple system running on solar and filling this gap. So anything from 1,000 to 20,000. Then depending to which machine, that means how many people are served. But now that we are talking of over 1 million people on the daily basis are dependent to all water delivery, water production per day. In Africa, the numbers would be double by the end of this year and would get to 6 million by 2025.
Question number 2 is, do you have to remineralize?
You know, any desalination system, at the end of the day, is taking the mineral out of water. What we do, as exactly you mentioned, we are remineralizing water for bringing it up to the level that World Health Organization is always recommending, anything between 200 to 300 ppm. The interesting is this is not acceptable by every community. Some communities, they really needed it at the very, very lowest number. If you check water bottles, official, you know, very nice, shiny water bottles from big factories in Kenya, for instance, proudly they wrote there 20 ppm. 20 ppm is actually not good. According to World Health Organization, it's not good. It should be more than this. So this is what we can do it, and not just what we manage in our machine. People can see it on the screen of the machine. They can see how much of minerals are left in the drinking water. So we do remineralize water, making sure that the minerals people need are added to the machine, added to the water, and again, giving people the access to the data, the access to all data to see the water that they are purchasing is coming at what quality. And this is part of our transparency and also simplification of access to data of water to people. Even now, there is an American company, it's called Power Water. They are our partner, and they developed an app that people in East Africa, they can choose one of our water kiosks, they can see what is the quality of water, and they can order it by their phone, and they receive the water that they chose from the nearest water kiosk to their doorstep.
And question number 3 is, how are the 1.5 million people served actually calculated?
Yes, this 1.5 million people are now in 11 countries. So I can name it from Yemen, Somalia, Kenya, Tanzania, Zanzibar, Mozambique, South Africa. Then we go to Mexico, Philippines. These are the countries that people are receiving water from our machines. So, but the distribution is different. In some places, I can say in most of these applications, people come to the kiosk, there are filling station. There are 2 types of filling station: hand filling station that the operators receive the bucket or the canister, wash it, disinfect it, fill it, cap it, and deliver. There is another one that we have, which is a water ATM. People come with a token, and then it's 24 hours. So whenever they want, they come to the machine, they fill the they fill their canister, use a token, and it's because there is no operator engaged, they are responsible for the filling and everything, and it's all by mobile money or by the token, that the transactions are cashless. The other very recent activities that we've done is by pipe, putting pipe in kilometer away, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer in different directions, and covering a radius of something about 5 to 6 kilometer in one poor urban community. It's not for villages, it's mainly for poor urban communities. And the last one is the one that I just mentioned also before, by electric cargo bikes. These are the ones that we do, but also people come by tankers, people come by donkeys with a cart at the back. They come, fill the buckets, purchase from us in a subsidized tariff, they go and resell it into the markets nearby or kilometers away. So this is the way that we are delivering this water for drinking. At the meantime, as I said, we are delivering irrigation, fish farm, and sanitation water as well.
Really cool stuff, Hamed. Thank you so much for doing this. And Lisa, it's always a great pleasure to have you on our program. So we let you go to sleep now, but you're probably watching this live, even though it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for you. It's just simply too exciting. So let's move on to our next company. And we're going to be talking to NZinc, which is a really, really cool battery storage startup. And we have Adam Baker with us for the very first time. He's joining us from AGL Energy Ventures in Australia. And this is also something we want to do with this program, so you understand, right? I still feel after all this year that we kind of the Americans and the Australians and the Europeans and the Asians, we kind of live a little bit in different worlds. We don't connect fast enough. But obviously climate change, right? Sustainable energy is a global challenge. So I want us all to come closer together and interact more with each other. So if you see somebody on a program that you want to talk to, right? You have a great solution, you want to bring it to Australia, you need an introduction to Adam, please reach out to us or directly via LinkedIn. All the links will be up on our website so you can reach out directly. We literally have no time to waste to stop climate change. So, let's just work together on this thing. It's a truly global challenge, and we have people on every corner of the world to make great things happen. But Adam, now you please take it from here with the next company.
Hi, everyone. My name's Adam. I'm a venture investor in the clean tech space, and my career has spanned from engineering through to finance, through to startup investing. Today, I'd like to introduce you to NZinc.
Well, hello from California. This is Mike Burrs, president and co-founder of NZinc. NZinc is a drop-in energy storage technology for legacy battery manufacturers to leverage about 80% of their existing facilities and staff to produce batteries which have the power of lithium at the cost of lead acid with no fire potential, a wide temperature operating range, and entirely recyclable. The world's largest markets depend on lead acid batteries. Lots of cheap but low power units. They don't last very long and are made of toxic lead. The world's newest markets depend on lithium ion batteries, powerful and light, but with a fire risk and expensive and a temperature range challenge. This $100 billion energy storage market has not yet found the right solution as buildings, vehicles, and the grid are decarbonized and Asia and Africa rapidly urbanize. It's never been more important to develop superior energy storage technology, and it has to satisfy as many application requirements as possible. NZinc makes an anode that solves those challenges using the common material zinc, but in a new form, a zinc metal sponge. The result, a superior multi-application battery which has the power of lithium at the cost of lead acid with no fire potential and a wide temperature operating range. Through our NZinc Inside commercial process, we design and qualify zinc battery designs. We license those proprietary designs to battery manufacturers and then sell them our proprietary zinc sponge anodes. And it's easy for them to convert. These existing, say, lead acid manufacturers can drop in this energy storage technology to leverage about 80% of their existing equipment and staff. Now, it's proven and patented storage technology, co-developed with the United States Navy and under exclusive license to NZinc. We've already done 1,000 full charge and discharge cycles to date, and we're targeting 2,000. We've already produced our first full-scale e-bike anode, and we've teamed with one of the largest e-bike manufacturers in California to both test the battery and test it for manufacture. And in so doing, we've engaged a global battery manufacturer for materials and product development to test this NZinc Inside approach. We're a winner of the Department of Energy's Advanced Research Projects Agency Energy Award. We've also won 3 awards from the California Energy Commission CalSeed program for concept, prototype, and recently Cal Testbed, which gives us access to University of California testing facilities. And last year, we won the Cleantech Open's Global Forum People's Choice Award. The team that's doing this is made up of domain experts and world-class engineers from the energy storage, mobility, and aerospace sectors. Now, we've raised about 1.4 million in capital to date, 1 million from the grants and awards that I mentioned, and 400,000 from investors. Currently, we're raising $5 million for the next 12 to 14 months of milestones and engineering development and testing. We're looking to talk with lead acid, nickel metal hydride, nickel cadmium manufacturers in Southeast Asia, India, Africa, Japan, Europe, China, and the US, basically the world. Anywhere there's a lead acid manufacturing plant or nickel metal hydride, we want to talk to them. And finally, we're always interested in meeting smart people to support our success, both engineers and business people. Thanks very much.
So we know that it's very capital intensive to establish a lithium battery manufacturing operation in the order of $130 million in CapEx. How does your solution compare to that?
If we take a look at the NZinc Inside model, that's the one we're focused on, and it's specifically designed for lead acid and nickel metal hydride CAD manufacturers so that they can adapt their existing facilities without spending a huge amount of capital equipment costs and retraining their personnel, even trying to make, clean rooms for it. In fact, as you mentioned, the minimum cost just to set up a lithium-ion plant is like $130 million. What we've got is you can put 20 million in, 15 million for the anode and 5 million for conversion, and you end up with a battery which can compete effectively with lithium-ion.
Why zinc for energy storage? What's changed with zinc, and why hasn't it been used before?
So we're addressing a $100 billion market. Zinc has been identified since the early 1900s as the right material. In fact, it was Thomas Edison that came up with that. It was plentiful. It's the fourth most mined metal on the planet. It's low cost. It uses a water-based electrolyte, so there's no fire potential. And just as important for the green energy revolution, it's completely recyclable. They had the right material, but the wrong form, powder in a paste. This meant that it limited the ability of zinc to deliver to its full potential. This new three-dimensional sponge then not only eliminates dendrites, which can kill a battery, but it enables it to react more and use more of the zinc, so you get more of the energy that you're looking for. This means that zinc is found everywhere. It can increase the ability to use a high-performance battery, but also to develop domestic manufacturing and increase job creation within those countries that adopt it.
How does an NZinc battery compare to existing lithium and lead acid batteries? What are the ideal applications for this new battery?
So once again, our business model is this NZinc Inside, kind of like Intel, where they design chips and then help design computer companies design their computers. What we're going to do is design the battery using this new zinc technology and then help these companies adapt their existing manufacturing so that they can make this new technology. That then gives them an opportunity to compete by replacing all old lead acid batteries, which frankly, 1 out of 3 children have lead acid poisoning because of these poor recycling of lead batteries. This gives them an opportunity then to deliver a battery with the energy of lithium ion, but at a cost more like lead acid, but with a wider temperature range so that you can use it, in the very cold climes or very hot climes. And there's no fire, which means in an urban environment, you don't have to worry about fires, whether it's in your vehicle or in your home.
Let's stay here for a moment in Asia. We're talking to Simon in a place called Sabah in Malaysia. Maybe not the place you might associate with clean technology startups, but obviously there's something out here that has an enormous potential to stop climate change, feed the global population, and actually drive our cars and everything else we need. What are we talking about? One of my favorite subjects, that about ocean farming. We're involved with that. Simon is one of our partners in this. We want to put a focus on the possibilities that we have growing water plants in the vast surfaces of the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. And there's so much we can do with that. We're looking at biopolymers, for example, but also, for collagen. The use cases are endless. And they're doing some great work out in Malaysia to make sure that you actually grow the best vegetables. Is it a vegetable? Yes, I think it's a vegetable actually we call ocean farming, and turn that into the best products we can find. So please Peter Dupont is with us here, one of the most influential investment advisors for PFAM here out in Asia. So please take the program and explain to us what you're doing with your seaweed farming in Malaysia. We're truly excited about it.
Thank you very much, Julian. My name is Peter Dupont. I'm managing partner of Asia Clean Energy Partners. We're an international consultancy that works around Asia, helping people and organizations to connect with resources they need to make an impact on the energy transition. And one of our exciting clients is the Private Financing Advisory Network, where we coordinate a network of more than 40 expert coaches across Asia. And we're actively coaching about 100 projects in the climate and clean energy space. So we're delighted to be here tonight. I'd like to introduce you to an amazing person, Simon Davis, who founded a company called Seedling. And Seedling is tackling the multi-billion-dollar global market for seafood, which also includes not only seafood, but also animal pet additives. And amazingly, they also are able to tackle the problem of livestock methane through the prebiotic properties of the seaweed. So really looking forward to hearing about Simon and what he has to say about his company.
Hi, I'm Simon Davis, the founder and CEO of Seedling, the world's fastest growing seaweed biotech company. Seaweed is really hot right now, and there's no surprise why. With more than 10,000 species, it's scalable to any ocean and completely sustainable. The market size is already significant, and it's about to take off as seaweed enters new markets like what we're doing with animal feed, and whole new sectors are created, such as carbon capture and methane reduction. Now, here's the thing. 99% of the world's seaweed is farmed in Asia. The coming boom will happen here in this region where there already are millions of existing farmers. The tragedy, however, is that these farmers currently use poor quality seed material, whatever they've got lying around. Imagine the leap forward that will happen simply by putting better quality seed in their hands. At Seedling, we're taking the advances of land agriculture and applying it to the ocean. With our technology, we can grow crops faster, with greater reliability, greater yields, and make greater products. To do this, we use a distributed farming model. We supply our high-growth seedlings to farming communities, monitor the crop, and then use the harvest to make our own products. This gives us full control of the value chain, all the way from seed to finished product without the risk of farming ourselves. Our first product was a fermented gut health supplement for the pet feed industry. We started with pilot production this year and sold out. We had an overwhelming response, and we're scaling production now. This product's got a 40% gross profit margin estimated with further scaling. We started with pet feed because we could charge a premium, and we've also got products for agriculture, aquaculture, humans, and so on. And behind this, we've got a talented team of scientists passionate about what they're doing. They've got expertise in molecular biology, marine biology, and food technology. And we're backed by an advisory board of experts with decades of experience. Seedling is an impact company. We run training programs funded by the Malaysian government to improve the livelihoods of seaweed farmers, particularly women. And seaweed's got tremendous environmental benefits, captures carbon, reduces nitrate pollution, and rejuvenates marine ecosystems. A unique advantage is that we are based in the heart of Asia, the major seaweed growing region of the world. And we are the first movers in this region to incorporate biotechnology. We can do high quality R&D at very low cost. There's going to be a number of opportunities with seaweed in the coming years. Knowledge and agility is key. We'll be aggressively scaling our production to 1 million tons a year by first expanding production here in Malaysia this year and then expanding to Indonesia next year. We'll be opening our seed investment round in Q4 this year to expand our model for scaling via partnerships next year. Once again, I'm Simon Davis, we're Seedling, and we encourage you to join us and ride this growing wave of seaweed.
Simon, thank you for that excellent presentation. Super interesting. Now, seaweed is a real hot topic right now. Where do you see the future opportunities?
We've already maximized the land that we can grow crops on at the moment. And as our population expands, we need to find new areas to grow food. The ocean is a natural place to expand. With more than 70% of the Earth's surface being ocean, it's a natural opportunity for us to expand to this region and grow food. Now, there's going to be a number of other opportunities, such as bioplastics, biofuel, carbon capture, and so on. But food production in particular, because seaweed is so nutritional, it's such a superfood, really is where the direction of this industry will go.
That's really interesting, Simon. Thanks for that. So why is it that Seedling is focused on the market for feed supplements right now?
Seedling's focused on feed supplements because, first of all, we can charge a premium in this area. It's much better pricing rather than biofuels or bioplastics. And this is an area where we can really leverage our expertise in the germplasm, in the plant material itself, to get greater nutritional values, to search and produce high yields of particular compounds, so we can make better quality, more valuable, feed and food ingredients and supplements.
Thanks for that answer, Simon. So the final question I have is to ask you sort of what resources, funding, and talent are you looking for now in the marketplace, and what are the challenges you're facing in that?
We're a fast-growing biotech company, and we need the best people on board so we can grow and be the best that we can be. In the next 12 months, we'll be hiring a CFO, probably part-time at this stage, and we're open to being a remote position. If there's anyone out there who's got the talent and the passion to really change the world, we want to hear from them. Additionally, we'll be opening our seed investment round in Q4 this year, and we'd love to get in contact with investors who share our vision for the future of seaweed.
This is really cool stuff, and we're moving on directly. We're really great in time. We try to make this as fast as possible and cram lots of amazing technology and solutions into this under 2-hour program. It's epic. So I think I don't even have a watch in years, but I think we're making it. Moving on to amide proteins, and they figured out a way how to replace sugars with proteins that they grow in the lab. This, as much as I understand, but it's really, really cool stuff. And obviously all this kind of lab-grown foods is growing very, very fast. And maybe this is one of the big new unicorns out there, and we're proud to have them on our program.
Hello, I'm Craig Douglas, a partner in a European clean tech VC, currently in stealth mode. So we'll make a big announcement later this month, but for now I can't give you much more details than that. Just to say that we'll be one of the biggest climate tech VCs in Europe. So if you want to get in touch, let me know. Please do so via LinkedIn for the moment. But it's my great pleasure today to introduce you to 2 new companies and then ask them some questions. First is Amani Proteins, and then it's Purify Fuels.
So welcome to Amai. Amai is sweet in Japanese, and it is the sweetest startup that you'll ever see. Because at Amai Proteins, we design novel proteins which are fit to the mass food market. On one hand, you have proteins which are good for you. They live in nature and they're a small piece of heaven, and they are intrinsically not stable, and they are not so fit for the mass food market. Because food for a protein is a hell of an environment. What we do at Amai is we design novel proteins which are fit to the mass food market, starting with the first healthy, tasty, and sustainable sweetener, which is cheaper than sugar in sweetness units. How do we do such a dream thing? Well, you do have sweet proteins in nature. In the midst of the jungle, you have ultra-sweet proteins, which are up to 3,000 times sweeter than sugar. However, they're not stable, and they're very costly, and they also don't have a sufficient sugar-like sensory profile. We used computational protein design, and I'm happy to send you the leading book in the field, which I happen to publish, and after publishing it, I decided to leave my academic career and to open Amai. And then after we made a protein which mimics proteins which live in harsh conditions, and you do have life in harsh conditions, such as the Dead Sea, hot springs deep in the ocean, then we add the functionalities which are found in nature, such as sweet proteins. We have made the world's sweetest protein, which is 4,000 times sweeter than sugar in 5% sugar equivalent. It actually has a threshold of 16,000 times sweeter than sugar, and then we produce it by precision fermentation. Fermentation is the oldest technology in the food technology book, because beer, kimchi, wine, yogurt, all of these are products of fermentation where you eat or drink the entire fermenter. We add a layer of harvesting, and we end up with a white powder which replaces sugar. This is just our first product. We are working on additional proteins in the pipeline, which are proteins for the meat, milk, and plant space. We have raised already $17 million, and in less than 2 years, we will be in the market. Not less important, sugar is a very important commodity, but it is also very environmentally unfriendly and very unhealthy. It's actually the #1 challenge of world health, which is a non-communicable disease. We solve these issues because our protein activates the sweet receptor in our oral cavity, but then just like any other protein, it is digested to its amino acid constituents. Consequently, and unlike sugar and other sweeteners, there are no interactions with the body, inner organs, the microbiomes, the livers, the kidneys, and so on, like other sweeteners. In summary, we are now with 25 people going up to 30, producing within less than 2 years what is the world's first healthy, tasty, and sustainable sweetener, and going to launch in the United States and then around the world. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that pitch. Exceptionally interesting company. So why not conventional sweeteners? And following on from that, why is your solution sugar reduction and rather than sugar elimination?
So very good questions. And today you don't have a sweetener that can reduce more than 30% of the sugar without compromising health, taste, cost, and fitness to the market, usually more than one of these categories. More than that, as the American Heart Association put in an advisory and many other policy makers, and I'm quoting, there is a dearth of evidence in the adverse health effects of high-intensity sweeteners, whether they are natural stevia, monk fruit, or whether they are artificial, aspartame, sucralose, saccharin, and so on, because these interact with the microbiomes, the liver, the kidneys, and so on. We present something which is not a me too, but a novel solution, a hypersweet protein that can replace over 30% of the sugar, and we have products in both solids and beverages, including stability that can sweeten a hot cup of coffee or tea. And with that in mind, we have a protein which only activates a sweet perception, but does not interact with our inner body organs. Finally, and not less important, we want to make sure we compete not with a small diet market, but with the big sugar market, because still in sweetener space, 90% of the market is sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And what we do with a panel of 20 super tasters, which come to AMAI several times a week in order to do blind tasting, we reduce the level of sugar up to the point where people cannot differentiate between our product and the full sugar product. So what we have is not something competing with diet, but actually competing with sugar. Above 30% sugar reduction, we can put a sugar-reduced labeling. And in some products, such as ketchup, we have 70% sugar reduction. In most of the beverages, we have 50% sugar reduction. And all that without people noticing that it's not a full sugar product.
Thanks for that. Following on, who are you going to sell to? And what's your serviceable market? And really, how big is that market? Because sugar is a big one. I'd love to know who you're going to plan to sell to.
So we consume every year close to 200 million tons of sugar. And with that, within that space, the sugar is used not only for sweetening, but also as a bulking agent, as a texturizing, as a caramelizing. We only answer to the sweetener part of it. And our stability is good enough for a hot cup of coffee, but not for long-term oven. Consequently, we are very good for the beverage market. We are very good for sauces, for solids, whether it's chocolate, ketchup, and many more. And we have a addressable market, which is about half the size of the overall sugar market, which is a $90 billion market in the B2B ingredient space. And of course, beverages is in the trillions of dollars when you go to the final consumer packaged good. And in this space, we are looking to be mainly a commodity, but also as a branded product. We may go also for some specific collaborations with some final products.
That's great to hear from a market science perspective. So where are you now in terms of development? Where do you want to go to? And how long is it going to take you to get to market? And finally, what are you looking for from an investment perspective?
So AMAI was established in December 2016, and within less than 2 years, we will begin sales. We are now getting the regulatory approval, FDA and other agencies. We have numerous fee-bearing collaborations with the non-PepsiCo Ocean Spray and many others, which I'm not allowed to disclose, which are most of which after the first collaboration, we have a second and third one. We expect to hit the market US first and then go to other markets around the world. 60% of the diabetic market is actually in Southeast Asia. We have good connections in South America, Southeast Asia, and of course, Europe as well, and Americas.
I think this is really a truly amazing solution. What do you think? Go vote for them. Next, we're going to have something I think is just truly, truly necessary. We're not all going to be fully electric in the foreseeable future, right? We're going, hydrogen, we're going all these different ways to fuel our mobility needs on this planet, which obviously the more integrated we get, the more it gets. But there's also a different way of doing that while we still have those engines that are burning diesel, everything else. Let's make it at least as clean as possible. And again, there we're just at the very beginning, especially in shipping, obviously, they have been firing the dirtiest stuff to their engines for decades now. So there's a company out there that is interested and willing and able to change that. They're called Purify Fuel. They're for the first time on our program, but I'm super excited to hear what they're up to.
Hi, my name is Steve Goose. I'm the CEO of Purify Fuels, Inc., and I'm happy to have a chance to talk to you all today. Our product that we're going to talk about today is a combustion catalyst. We have branded Nano2 ESG combustion catalyst. It's the need we're trying to address is the fact that while everybody wants to transition to renewable fuels, for the foreseeable future, there's not going to be any alternative or any economical alternative for large, heavy transportation like rail, marine, mining, maybe heavy power generation where they have to use oil for islands and things like that that don't have access to natural gas. So what we've looked at is what can we do to try to reduce the emissions on those products today instead of waiting 30 or 40 years for emissions to become available. And one of the issues will be things like a railroad. An engine will be used in service for 30 to 40 years, a ship for 30 years, a mining truck for 25 to 30 years. So even the newest emission standards that the EPA is putting out there are not going to affect a large part of the fleet. So if we're going to improve the fuel consumption and reduce emissions, we're going to have to do something about the fuel itself. So what we've got is a product called Nano2, as I said, ESG combustion catalyst. It's a combination of a cetane booster, which lowers the pressure and accelerates the ignition in a diesel engine, a compression combustion engine. We have a catalyst that will increase the oxygen availability during the combustion. So it extends the combustion duration. Usually an engine runs out of oxygen and therefore there's incomplete combustion. Our catalyst donates oxygen at the peak of combustion, so it extends the burn and gets a more efficient burn. And also, because it is a catalyst, it absorbs oxygen at high temperatures, so it will also reduce the combustion chamber temperature because it sort of acts as a governor on the combustion. And finally, we have a lubrication and a detergent, so it keeps your engines operating well. We started out with testing this in about 2016. We went to the University of Texas through a group here in Houston called the HARC. And our lab test, on a 55 cetane fuel, we got between 5 and 8.3% fuel efficiency improvements, depending on the duty cycle. And on the 45 cetane fuel, lower cetane natural fuel, we got between 6.4 and 14.6 as the cetane booster improved combustion. But beyond that, we also reduced CO2 by 24.2%. We had 36% less unburned hydrocarbons, 50% less soot, and 20% less NOx because of both the governor effect of the cerium oxide and because of the lubricity we added to the engines. And again, it also improves the engine performance because it cleans the injectors and it cleans the cylinders. We have had a growth. We were doing pretty well. So we first had commercial sales in 2018. In 2019, our sales went to $750,000. Unfortunately, in 2020, COVID hit. A lot of our markets collapsed, and we actually ended up buying back some inventory. So we had very small sales in 2020. But 2021, things are improving. In the fourth quarter of this year, it looks like we're going to do just over $2.1 million in sales and spread across 5 industries. So we're seeing diverse growth and significant growth in the second half of the year. We've also adopted a strategy we call our bell cow strategy. So we are selling to the larger customers in each of our industries to try to get to get the industry leaders. And what we feel that once they adopt, then we'll have better adoption for other people in the industry. As I mentioned, we've looking at in the third quarter we've got cash flow positive. In the fourth quarter will be profitable, and looking into next year, we're going to go out of the year at a run rate of about $9 million, and look to double or triple that for next year's sales. So we believe our financial future is very bright. We are in the middle of an A round offering right now. We've collected about half of it. It was $500,000 just to help us finance working capital for near-term growth. We're also looking at a $2 million preferred stock offering in the second or third quarter next year. And the goal there is to raise enough money to allow us to expand into new markets like on highway perhaps, or the Class 1 railroads in the U.S. have different testing requirements than the Class 2 and 3 that we've been selling to. So to get into those markets is going to take about $750,000 each. So we're looking at raising some money, combining that with our positive cash flow for next year to be able to have enough money to really turbocharge our growth looking at 23 and beyond. We're going to use it, as I said, for testing. We're going to have to buy some equipment. One of the things we're finding is if we can automate the dosing process, mixing our product into the diesel, it has a significant positive influence on our ability to get at testing or get a good blending. But there's a number of general things on that. And so I think, again, we're very proud of our product. It's the right time. Last year was miserable, but this year it's not just a matter of the fuel consumption, but the focus on ESG has never been higher. We have a solution that doesn't require rework of machines. You can use on existing product. It reduces emissions, it increases power, and it does save fuel. And we think it's a great opportunity for investors. We've got a strong management team. I didn't mention before, we're partnered with Solvay. Solvay provides us our catalyst. They've got longest experience in the business, and they have the best product. Our product is patented, and we're the first mover in this market. So we think we're establishing credibility that will be hard for anyone else to catch up with. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that presentation. I'd really be interested to hear how your product is protected, what sort of IP position you have here.
Yes, it is patented in the United States, and we've applied for patents, I think, in Canada and Europe and China, and several countries in Europe. And we've received the patent in the US, and I believe we received it in Europe. So I think we're good there. But beyond the patent protection, there is first mover advantage. And finally, our partnership with Solvay, one of the things that Solvay provides us is an incredibly pure product. So other cerium oxide have cerium metals in them, which will melt at lower temperatures and can affect engines. Our product is guaranteed metallic free or metal free, so it won't harm your engines. And also smaller particles, so we have more surface area, better performance overall. So we think the combination of patent protection, first mover advantage, and the partnership with Solvay will all three protect us from competitors.
Interesting. So you still work with carbon-based fuels. So how does your product actually reduce greenhouse gases?
Yeah, that's a good question, a great question. In the end, it's improved combustion is what causes it. In fuel, the problem is carbon in has to equal carbon out. So you can't eliminate greenhouse gases. But by burning the fuel more efficiently, you actually use less per unit of output. And by burning it more cleanly, you reduce the amount of CO that's coming out, particulate matter, other harmful chemicals. And finally, you're also able to reduce the NOx. And NOx is a much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide is. It's 300 or more times more efficient at trapping heat in the atmosphere. So by reducing NOx, we have a big impact, and we're doing it on all the engines out there, not just ones with after treatment.
And final question for me, what partners or investors are you looking for at the moment?
In this round, we're tend to be strategic investors or just general investors, small investors. So it's pretty open round. We've got about $250,000 of the round left. Going into next year, we're going to raise, hopefully from professional investors, private equity, and again, strategic investors are the ones we like. People can open up industries for us. And that's a bigger raise that we're going to use that money for. The more explicit or more detailed testing, that's much more expensive. And again, will allow us to penetrate markets like on-highway truck. The on-highway market in the US is as big as all the other markets combined in terms of fuel consumption. The class 1 railroads, between 7 railroads, use about 4.5 billion gallons of fuel themselves each year. Our product, 1 gallon, treats 750 gallons of diesel. So you can see that's a lot of gallons of our product we can sell into that market. And then finally, marine is a huge market for us. The very low sulfur fuel oil, we want to do some testing to make sure we have the right product and that it blends well into the very low sulfur fuel oil. And if we can get that market open to us, it really is the sky's the limit. That's an incredible amount of fuel used, and in a place where ships are used a long time and they need something to help them reduce their emissions in a cost-effective way.
Well, that's really cool stuff. And yeah, absolutely necessary. I mean, this is one of those silent polluters out there. But I spent a lot of time in Puerto Rico, for example. We have a lot of cruise ships in St. Thomas, and you can smell that stuff. So anything that's possible to make those fuels cleaner, obviously, is highly, highly welcome. Let's do something else I really like to do. And you know that I do like to talk about me, and I like to talk about what we do, right? I'm just a performer, as you know. And zero carbon, most of you guys know, is a project that's been incredibly dear to me for like the last 15 years. It started with an investment round in 2006 with Kleiner Perkins and Wellington, these guys investing into gasification technology that takes waste and turns it into green hydrogen. And if you think about it, all these years ago, we built this 4-story tall towers with 3,000 sensors. It took like 5 engineers to keep these things up and running. We have been chipping away at it, even though it was not easy sometimes. And now we have come up with a solution that is a 1-stage reactor. And what we set out to do 15 years ago is now finally possible. So we're taking waste and we turn it into green hydrogen, and then we can use it in a fuel cell for power generations. And there's so many applications for it. You can have decentralized hydrogen production, you can have decentralized power generation, but first of all, we have come up with a way that is very, very easy to handle, that can be operated anywhere in the world, that is cost effective to treat your waste streams. We're doing this with sewage sludge. We're doing this municipal waste at this point with straw, with husk. And the breakthroughs over the last year have been really incredible. And this is why I'm excited to have our in-house genius, the guy that I ask when I need some technical input, on the program with us again. Here's Michael Hofmeister joining us from Germany, and give us a quick update of what has been going on with you guys. Obviously, zero carbon is not on the list because I'm super partial. I love this company. I love the technology, and I can tell you for an hour that you should vote for it, but obviously that would be slightly unfair to everybody else. So, Mickey, take it from here. Give us an update of what has been going on with zero carbon. It has been, despite COVID, an incredible year.
Hi, Julian. Nice to meet you again. So, COVID obviously restricted us considerably, but we have been very busy, especially here in Germany. We have been running our laboratory unit in Zittau, partnered with the Technical University, focusing on some of the worst possible waste feedstocks like straw, plastics, sewage, and digester waste. We are very proud to have received the third-party validation from the Technical University Zittau for our X5 unit. We also have been busy with our patent applications and international development projects, particularly sewage processing and combining our reactor with a fuel cell.
Mickey, I have to say that, we're super close in this development, like for the last decade. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your small little team. You're fighting through all these challenges that small decentralized waste treatment really can bring. When we look back, I just discussed it with Professor Chunke at the university. When we started this thing, nobody thought it would be possible to use such a simple designed reactor to turn anything into clean energy. Apart from, now you're doing sewage sludge, you're doing straw, you're doing husk, you're doing municipal waste. And if I understand correctly for a project, Mickey, you're also using a fuel right now that is not only like a blend of poo and waste and everything else, but it wasn't a biodigester before. So at that point, it's pretty much just ash, right? What fuel are you working on right now, Mickey? And why is that so exciting?
Right now, we are working with a project partner to run the machine with anaerobic digested waste. This has already been going through an energy reclaiming process, which means that there is nearly nothing in anymore, mostly only ash. And we try to get out the most calorific value of it and try to reduce the volume of outcome.
Thank you, Mickey. Just in case you missed that, not because of Mickey's beautiful German accent, but maybe something that's a little bit too complicated and technical here for, just finance guys like us. But why this really matters, and the incredible thing is that we now take in waste streams you get paid money for to treat. And then we're turning that into green hydrogen, which is the future. I think we're kind of agreeing on that thing, right now, that kind of green hydrogen is going to be the future. But we still have the issue that the cost of producing and transporting and storing green hydrogen is, just kind of non-economical at this point. So we have a solution now. We can use a waste stream and you get paid for treating the waste already. So you can probably generate on-site hydrogen cheaper than from any other source right now. And I think that's truly breakthrough stuff. And I'm just super excited to see also our first unit in Bali here. So next time you'll see me for EX Venture Night USA, we're going to have our running unit out here. And you can actually see how we're putting ocean plastic in there. And we might want to turn it into hydrogen as well. So Mickey, closing words. What's next for you guys? What are you working on? And what is to be expected for the next year from you guys?
So we have 3 points which we are focusing mainly in the future. The one is to combine our machine with the fuel cell, which is a very incredible breakthrough if this works out. Then second point is that we finish up nearly the assembly of our test unit in Asia, where we can test waste which come out of the region. And the third point is we want to implement our commercial unit X50, which will be a real game changer.
Mickey, thank you so much. And after all these years, I'm truly excited about seeing this solution. We are finishing our fundraise right now on WeFunder for Zero Carbon. Has been incredibly successful from our side because we raised money on the platform, off the platform. And even more important, we found a lot of support. We found 400 new investors that are now supporting Mickey and our team of bringing this technology to market. And this is also our experiences we have had for the last decade, how hard it can be to walk through this valley of death of technology development. And we need to focus and make a joint effort that the great technologists, the visionaries out there like Mickey, don't run out of steam and out of capital during this incredibly important time, because breakthrough solutions take time and they take money and convictions and sacrifice. And if we as finance guys can support that, I am very, very happy to do so. Thank you so much. This is actually the end of our program already, and I think you have heard a lot about great technology. I want to thank all the companies. I want to thank all our co-hosts. Obviously, I think just the investment funds on here tonight is worth $1 trillion. So we should be able to make some stuff happen. Obviously, also we had about 1,500 attendees out there on LinkedIn, all over the globe, YouTube, that are following this program. We're also going to reach out to every investor individually with the broadcast and every little piece of that over the next few days. You have 7 days to vote the top list of EX Venture Night and the ultimate bragging rights to be best of global 2021 at EX Venture. And I want to invite you to check out our upcoming campaign for EX Venture Night as well, and EX Venture. We are raising a little bit of money to keep this thing afloat and actually grow it and turn it into a business, because I think we're onto something really, really cool. We get great feedback. And obviously, we focus on the funding and the marketing side for clean technology companies with the background that we have in technology, in finance, and global access. And the way we can do that for companies now is that we take an equity stake early on, and for that we can do all the services for free for a while until they're ready to raise money. So you don't have to squeeze your cash flow in these early years and make life even harder. I want to thank everybody for tonight because we have all donated our time, including my own staff behind the camera. Felix done an incredible job in editing, Oliver putting the companies together. We have all put in our time here for free to make this happen, to put a spotlight on the best companies in the world that are truly tackling humanity's biggest challenges in waste, water, energy, agtech, AI, and robotics. I think it was an incredible list. I think we're coming in under 2 hours. I think this is about as fast as possible. Now you go and vote, send us your feedback, drop me a message, let us know what you think. If you want to pitch as a company, reach out to us directly or reach out via one of your VCs or investors. That even makes a better impression. And we will see you next week in 7 days, same place, same time, and you will find out who is the best of EX Venture. Vote at exventure.co. My name is Julien UHLIG, CEO of EX Venture. This was incredible. Thank you all so much and have a great night from Bali. Bye-bye.